Hey, it's Joey with Melodic Marbles, and today I'm going to show you how you can play a song with just 3 notes of a xylophone with a Gravitrax marble run. So I sell these xylophone pieces on my Etsy store, and while I would love for you to go buy a full 25-note xylophone or an 8-note C major octave, uh, if you only decide to buy 3 notes, this is something that you could build. Okay, so the song is going to be Do Re Mi from The Sound of Music. And we're not going to play the whole song. We only got 3 notes, but we can play the first phrase. Do, a deer, a female deer. And that's it. And I haven't worked any of this out ahead of time yet, so you're going to see me puzzle this out in real time. So you could play this song with any 3-note sequence as long as those notes are a whole step apart. So right now I've got the notes G, A, B, but you could do the same with C, D, E, or D, E, F sharp, uh, or a whole bunch of different notes. So I always like to start from the end, and our last note is going to be this B. So I'm going to put that over here. So I do find it helpful to look at a piece of sheet music if you know how to read music. That helps me figure out the puzzle. So looking at this B, the last note, the note before it is going to be the G. But it's also worth looking at and seeing what different combinations we have with the B and the G throughout the phrase, because we're going to play each note multiple times. So before the B comes the G, and earlier before the B comes the G again, but one time there's going to have to be an A before the G. So we're going to have some kind of combination track here. There's another interesting problem. So even though we have GB 2 times, they're going to have happen at different rhythms. The first time is a bit faster and the last time's a bit slower. So yeah, I think we're going to need that mixer. The mixer is useful because it sends the ball to 3 different directions in a row. Let me get one of those. And the mixer is always going to spin in the same direction. So I have to think about which side needs to come out first, basically separating this phrase into 3 sections. The first section is going to be the first 3 notes, do, deer. The next section is fee, and the last section is male deer. That second section has to be the really fast one. So that's going to be the one that just goes straight from the mixer to the last note, which means the first section is going to have to be on this side. So I'm going to have to move my A over here. Okay, and then the third section is the slower one from G to B. So that's the one that's going to wrap around, but we don't want it to go too slow. Okay, and I'm going to orient my mixer to point this way. One trick I like to do here is put a piece of felt on the funnel so that the ball will not spiral around in the mixer for an unknown amount of time, but rather just drop to the hole right away. And that can help us fix the rhythm a bit better. Okay, we're at a part where we can test it. Here we go. Okay, not bad. I want to get the last 2 notes a little bit faster between the G and the B. So I could do that by putting a little bit more of a ramp here. Let's try that. Yeah, the last one's still a little slow, but that's okay. It's still pretty close. But what if I want to have the balls trigger without me placing each ball automatically? There's a couple things I could do. If I have a Gravitrax Power element, then I could add a release mechanism. Let's try that. So I'm going to replace my starting piece with one of these power elements that can trigger, and then I'm going to add a sensor to tell the ball to trigger. Okay, Let's test it out. Cool. The sensor triggered a little too early, so we're going to have to move that a little bit later on. Let's put it like here, maybe. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so if you don't have a Gravitrax Power system, you could instead build this kind of perfectly timed starting maze to send the balls at the right time. So I'm going to try that just to try it out. Okay, so I've got these two trays here that are going to help me build out this maze. And I've got this pusher. I'm going to move it back. This three start piece. So I'm going to have my first track come down quickly and just get to the note as fast as possible. Let's try out that first track. Cool. One thing I like to do with these trays is angle them a little bit. So actually there are an extra half height tile on the back side of each one, so it's sloping down. That way I can build a bit more of a maze here without having to worry about losing too much momentum. Okay, so that second track's going to come down, and I'm going to build that one on this side here. Make it a little bit longer than the first one. Okay, so let's see if I start with two balls here, if the timing is going to work out okay. Nope. Okay, it needs to be longer. We need a longer maze. Let's see. Actually, here's a piece I love. These slow rails are wonderful. All right, let's test this out. Ah, still not slow enough. Let's see. We're going to use another one of them. Okay, let's test it. Okay, a little too slow. So maybe we don't do both, but it did save us a lot going over there. Let's try this. Okay, that's pretty good. We could always tweak it, but I think I like that. So now we have the third one here. And actually, this could be fun to have it cross that first track a few times. So let's do this. Here we go. So there you go. That's how you play Do Re Mi with 3 notes from a Gravitrax compatible xylophone, and a couple different ways to do it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and subscribe and stay tuned for more.